Good morning, good day to everyone. Hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. As always, we are so proud, privileged, happy that you have chosen to spend your Saturday morning with us. There are so many other events and things that you could be doing right now. I know college football and all these other Saturday things are going on, getting into the holiday season. We have a great meeting for you today. I'd like to see we always like to welcome new faces and always like to see who has not attended an FOA meeting before. If this is like your first or second time at a Focus on America event, would you raise your hand? Just show that by a slight raising. Fantastic. Good. Sarah Ann, thank you so much for your hand there. Good to have you here. We always have fantastic speakers. We are behind the scenes doing so much. FocusOnAmerica.us. Please engage through our website. There are so many different things to look there in the hamburger menu. Volunteerism, getting your time is especially important because we're volunteer basis and we need more support at the grassroots level. So please always get engaged through that website, log in or join up, become a member, watch the Rumble videos, watch all the content we have out there, okay? If you would, we always like to start our meetings off with a prayer and invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would this time, just stand with me and bow your heads. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you today. Our world has so much going on, turmoil, strife. We can't be focused on that. We have to be focused on you. Please direct our attention, our hearts, our minds, right here, right now, to this place. Open our eyes and our ears to the things that are actually going on around us in our own communities, our families, our social circles. Lord, these are the things where we can have a direct impact immediately. And we need your strength, your grace, your wisdom, your vision to have a passion that will create change. We lean into you, we lean on you, because without you, this is all in vain. Thank you, Father. Thank you for today. Bless this meeting. In your name we pray. Amen. If you will, turn with me, face the flag, hand over hearts. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Here at Focus on America, we always like to start out with our mission statement and our vision statement. You can see there, our vision statement is very clear and concise. Right? To promote individual liberty, family values, and the U.S. Constitution by active participation in the political process. And I might ask you, what are you doing to be actively involved? How are you engaging on an individual level? Right? Let that hit home. Let that marinate. Our mission statement: to encourage Americans to be informed members of their communities, develop candidates to restore God-given, constitutionally guaranteed liberties, and to replace elected officials who do not represent their constituency. Again, I might ask, what are you doing on an individual level to engage with that kind of process to see that we can bring America back, right? We have a fantastic speaker for you today, Cameron Bucey. This is going to you, Bob, isn't it? This is, okay. Remember some very big headlines, taglines. This is our war cry. Vaccines. This is the tagline you apply. They are dangerous and deadly. We do have the t-shirts, don't we, available? Yes, we have the t-shirts available. Dangerous and deadly. We'll hammer that home. Dangerous and deadly. It's not safe and effective. It's the exact opposite of the propaganda machine, right? The candidates in elections are selected and rigged. We don't have a gold standard here in Alabama. We don't have a gold standard on the national level. They are pre-selected and rigged. So those are our two big mantras to embed in. Dangerous and deadly, selected and rigged. go to our website again, focusonamerika.us. That's a great place to get engaged, to see events, to get topical discussion, to get things like these t-shirts. All right. Here you go, Bob.
I'm not as tall as Dave. I have to lower this. When we went to the Election Crime Bureau Summit in August with Mike Lindell, there was a speaker there that stood up and talked about the big picture of why we in the U.S. are being under attack. And when I heard this, it kind of made sense, and I wanted to share this with you folks. Next slide, please. The example was, the analogy was, if you were to take the world's net worth and put it into one bank account, one bank, it would be worth $454 trillion. That's the world's net worth. And within that bank, there would be 3 separate accounts. In each account would have about 30%. So next slide, please. And the breakdown goes like this. The U.S. would have 1/3. They would be at the top with $140 trillion. The next 5 countries there that you see would be 34% of the amount of money in that bank account. And then the rest would be the other 158 countries. This is what everybody is going after, our net worth. We are the richest and most prosperous country in the world and have been for quite some time. People want that, and that's what they're going after. Next one. Again, they're looking for that money, and that's why we're under attack on all fronts. Next slide. Speaking of money, you've seen this before. I talked about it. This is Catherine Austin Fitts is big on this. Central bank digital currency. We want to get away from credit cards. Right now, in our country, 19 to 20% of all transactions that are made are with cash. The rest of them are either checks and mostly credit cards and electronic bank transactions. If that number of 19 to 20% drops to around 14%, they will cut off all the cash, get rid of it, and force us onto central bank digital currency. Then we will be no different than the folks in China, where you walk around with a phone and you won't be able to go outside of your 15-minute walk zone unless you have permission from the government. So everything at that time will be controlled. So please, if you can, put some money in an envelope on your counter when you go to the grocery store, grab a bunch of cash and pay cash for it instead of the credit card. Next one. All right, on the same thing here, I wanted to give an analogy of what it would be like for a cash transaction and a credit card transaction. Let's say that Dan here gets a lot of pressure from Rebecca to make sure that the video comes out right, and he's really stressed out. So after the meeting, he goes over to the bar, and Gary starts serving him some drinks, and he overindulges a little bit. Gary cuts him off and says, okay, it's time to go, and here's your bill. It's $99.95.
You had a good time.
And he does like tequila. So he pulls out of his pocket a $100 bill. Said, here, Gary, keep the change. He's real generous on tips. So Gary takes that money, and he has his truck, and he needs to have it repaired. So he takes that same $100 and gives it to the car mechanic to have his truck repaired. The car mechanic hears about Cameron, and he's a firearms guy, and he wants to take some lessons, and he takes that $100 and gives it to Cameron to give some lessons. Cameron hears about Sarah Ann. He has some dogs. He hears about Sarah Ann being dog trainer. He hires Sarah Ann and pays her $100 to give some lessons to his dog. And then Sarah Ann goes home and says, hey, Gary, or she's not married to Gary, Rick. Says, Rick, I'm tired of your cooking, so let's go out to dinner, and she spends the $100 at the restaurant. So my point here is, if you go on and on and on, whether it's 50, 100, 200, 1,000, that $100 is still worth $100 at the end of the line, no matter where you draw the line. So next slide. Let's run the same scenario. with Dan going up to the bar, same thing, and instead of paying cash, he gives him a credit card. Gary rings up the credit card, and Gary gets $97 because $3 or 3% goes to the credit card company. And it goes on down the line. I won't repeat it. It's the same thing, on and on and on. And by the time it gets down to, throw up the next one. Being an engineer, I can't help myself. I think in graphs and numbers. So I drew up this graph here. And if you went on down the line with that same string of transactions, you reach about transaction number 53, and that $100 that you had before is now worth 20. If you continue this on and out, the person who ends up, or the group that ends up with all this money, are the banks. So just think about that $140 trillion in our net worth here, and if it went to central bank digital currency, after 1, 2, 3 years of all credit card actions through your forced means of buying things, who's going to end up with all the money? The banks. It's just the way it's run. And last thing I'll leave you with this is that when I was a kid, in the 50s and 60s, there was 2 major banks in our town and maybe a handful of savings and loans. Now you drive around down the streets here, anywhere in Pleasanton, I live in Pleasanton, in Madison here, all you see are banks at every corner. What's the difference? Why are there so many more banks today? Is it because of this means of transactions? Who knows? Think for yourself. Answer the question is?
And for those of you, I used to work in economic development. So you look at that and the bank holds $80. $80 times 7. Every dollar that's spent within your community is spent 7 times over. So when you support local and you support that, every dollar that you spend repeats itself in your community for $7. If we have that, the bank holds $80 after 53 transactions. 80 times 7 is what? 56. That's $560 you've kept out of your community, even if you're spending it local. So think about, if you want to shop local, you want to spend local, every dollar you spend is worth 7, and you've removed that from your community, withheld it from your community because you paid with credit card instead of cash.
Thank you. That was a great, appreciate that. I think you're up next. Next slide, Dan. Okay, it's over to you, Rebecca. And then when she finishes up, we'll get to Cameron, so hang on.
Take the mic
Hi,
down.
everyone. Okay, so thank you all for being here. I'm so happy you're here. I didn't realize I was up next, or I could have just said all that at one time and not raise my hand and have to ask Bob for permission. But, you know, anyway, so for 2023 and 2024, we have decided we're going to really focus on election integrity and medical freedom. Those but let me remind you of this, and I spoke with a doctors group this week. Yes, medical freedom is top on my list, but I can't have medical freedom if I don't have good elections. So it still comes down to we have to focus on election integrity and medical freedom. Doesn't mean we're going to stop applying pressure, but those 2 things are going to be our focus. In 2024, election integrity, with a push for changes that we will need patriots like us to unite and push. That will be our primary focus, and without volunteers, this isn't going to work. So I need you guys to help and volunteer. If you know somebody that's really good at researching bills, we wrote a lot of bills last year, and that took a whole lot of my time researching those bills, keeping us up to date. I had 13 different bills last year. I need help. We need help with pushing for those bills, getting those things done. We're going to have upcoming medical freedoms, cash is king, education. We want to educate people about education, but also about election integrity. Human trafficking and exposing corruption within the state. So we need you for FOIA requests, calls, emails, and other tasks that you don't have to be out in front if you don't want to. What you do behind the scenes helps us be able to do what we do. So if you know anybody that can help with those things, they're really good at a computer or just researching or reading and researching these things so that we can do a better job to support our membership, that would be incredible. You can volunteer on our website. You can see one of us afterwards. And if someone's here and you think that would be, they've been wanting to know, I hear so often, I want to help, but I don't know what I can do. I don't have money, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. If we just give up a little bit of time of scrolling that fascist book or Instagram or any of those things, just spend a little bit of that time helping us research so that we can make Alabama better. That would be incredible. Okay. Am I introducing him? Okay. So, Cameron Bucey is the owner of Security Defense Solutions. Look at that mugshot, guys. He kind of scares me. But he looks like he could smile every now and then. He said not much. But he's is a personal protection specialist and director of operations for Security Defense Solutions and Associates. He provides executive protection for Fortune 500 countries, companies, SEOs, and senior staff for their domestic and international travel. He's licensed by the State Security Board as a qualifying agent, trainer 2, and is a private investigator. The title of his talk is, Are You Left of Bang? Please welcome Cameron Bucey.
To come running, just saying. Robert, again, thank you for inviting me in here today. Has anybody ever read the book Left of Bang? One or two, very few. Okay, we're going to cover that on the baseline on what that's about and a few other things as we go through this, okay? I'm going to enlighten you a little bit about your methods of your personal protection. As we kind of go through this, I'm going to hit this in 3 points, and then we're going to kind of do an overview of it as well, okay? So, I'm a firearms instructor, self-defense instructor, edge weapons, evasive driving. I got all the cool classes you want to take. Even do my own executive protection course that I teach. These are all great, and I highly recommend those, but this is not all you need. You need to go beyond getting the physical training. You got to get your brain thinking in the right direction, because if the brain's not working right, the body and everything you've learned from me or anybody else is not going to work, not going to do very well for you. So, if you decide you want to become the next John Wick, look me up. I got hand courses galore. Highly recommend them, but there's other instructors out there that are good as well. So, if you're looking for a good instructor, I got the guy for you. This is the video coming up. This guy's a professional now.
Welcome to Diamond Dave's Ninja School, home of the Judy Chop. I'm Diamond Dave, purveyor of the Judy Chop. What we's going to go over today, people, is a properly flung a Judy Chop, okay? Now, first off, people, I didn't wake up like this right here. You think I just woke up one day at dadgum ninja? No, says I, buddy. Him right there's harder than Chinese arithmetic, man, I'm here to tell you. Come from years of smashing beer cans and whatnot, you hear me? If I was to stick them things in my pockets, buddy, they'd arrest me for concealment of a deadly weapon, you hear me? Now, what we's going to do is go over how to sling a Judy Chop and where you can learn the dadgum Judy Chop. That's down here at my ninja school. I got a sign out in front of my trailer. All these other ninja schools in the trailer park, buddy, them's counterfeit Judy Chop shops. They sling counterfeit Judys left and right, buddy, and that's stolen valor, and that's highly frowned upon in the ninja business. You hear me? So now, without no further ado, I'm going to fling to you the properly flung a Judy Chop, okay? Now, what you want to do is you get yourself in an athletic ninja stance right there. I call it your ninja stance, okay? That's a little ninjology for you, okay? Now, you get your ninja flanging hand. The angle of the dangle on that right there is a 90-degree angle. That's some more ninjology for you right there. I don't expect you to learn all this in one episode. You just keep rewinding what you don't understand and watch her again. You'll get the hang of her, okay? Now, you get yourself in your ninja stance. Angle of the dangle's at a 90-degree Judy. You got your defending hand up like that right there, and you got your eyes on that mouthy pot licker's forehead. You know what I mean? Just aim right above his beady little eyes. You know what I'm saying? And you go and you want to say what it is you're doing when you're doing it too, okay? This is kind of even for you advanced ninjas out there. So the angle of the dangle, you got your ninja stance, you got your ninja defense arm up, and you go, hey, Judy Chop! Now look. When you go in right there with the Judy Chop, you're taking your front leg and you lifting and stepping with it like that. I call it the beer can stomp. Okay? So you got the ninja stance, the angle of the dangle at a 90-degree ninja angle. You do the beer can stomp, beer can twist, and then you fling it right like that, and that puts all your ninja momentum in it, and you got your pot liquor rendered useless to a properly flung Judy chop, okay? Don't be trying none of this stuff at home on your kids or your dogs. And don't go ninja nobody that don't need ninja, okay? I ain't gonna be responsible for nobody's doctoring bills, okay? The Diamond Days Ninja School, only on the Trailer Park Network on YouTube. Be sure and subscribe to my channel, and that way you'll be alerted to all my ninja uploads, you know what I mean? You never know when some of my moves might save your life out here in the trailer park, alright? Diamond Dave from Diamond Dave's Ninja School, home of the Judy Chop.
My work here's kind of done, I think, so. We can just end this session right now. Okay, so we're going to kind of get your brain on a senses course beyond just to get the body shooting guns and slinging weapons and the Judy chop. Okay, so everyone has talked about situational awareness. It's kind of been a beating a dead horse. They talk about it, but are you truly situationally aware? A lot of people say, well, they are, and there's concepts of that's been taught, but it's kind of been overdone and underdone in a lot of different ways, in my opinion. It's kind of short-sighted. So we tell our loved ones, pay attention to your surroundings, keep it off your phone, keep the keys in your hand, lock your doors. We tell all our children to do these things. Stay away from that creepy van, carry a gun. But when you've done all this, what if that fails? You did all those things that you were told to do, and the bad thing still happens. Well, now you're in it, and you're going, well, I did everything Dad told me or Mom told me, and I'm in this mess. Okay, so we got to kind of start thinking, what put us in our situation when we got ourselves in that situation to begin with? Okay, so bad stuff still happens. Car wrecks, tornadoes we have here in the South. We have riots kicking on. We have airlines that are getting issues with passengers on the plane. Bad things can still happen. We can't stop everything, but we can also kind of predict or get an idea of when the things are developing so we don't put ourselves or somebody else in that situation. We're going to cover 3 different books that I highly recommend reading. One is called The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. I'm not plagiarizing any of this, so I'm not pulling from their books on some of this. One is called The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. He is a protection specialist, like I am as well. He handles Elon Musk and I think Zuckerberg as well within his company. Left to Bang is another book I highly recommend. It's a very thick book. It's definitely a hard read. It was designed for the military. Started with the Marines. When we had Marines out there, Marines were kind of taught to do one thing, go in and kind of kick butt and take names. Well, when they had to start clearing houses, they were losing guys because they weren't taking in the surroundings and all the information that was there because they had tunnel vision and going, find bad guy, kill bad guy. Well, when they had to start adjusting their attacks on what they were seeing, encompassing all that's out there, they were coming away with more soldiers back home with none injured or killed. Okay, so there's the books there. Left to Bang, you'll see it out there. The third book we're going to kind of go into briefly is the Advanced Skills. I'll go into details a little bit later on the Advanced Skills. So all those dots there, we're going to kind of connect those dots on the end of this to kind of make everyone in the room a little bit more aware of what you can kind of do to kind of get yourself a little more situationally aware and a little smarter, being more proactive in your lifestyle. Okay. So fear, it's not a phobia. Okay, everyone kind of gets these two confused. Fear is fear, and that's okay. Fear is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a positive thing, and used in the right way. When you have that fear about you, that adrenaline kicks in. That adrenaline's a good thing when bad things happen. But we got to be able to control some of that fear or harness that fear in the right way, in a positive way. You have this fight or flight situation. Well, those are good, but you have the third one that's really bad is you freeze and do nothing. Often when the freeze and do nothing happens is because you had no plan, you weren't prepared, and it came as a surprise to you. We want to get all those out of your brain so when you walk into a place, you kind of have what we call the lay of the land, or you know the room you're in, or wherever you're going and what you're doing, okay? So don't disregard that fear. The fear is a good thing to tap into. It's telling you something that's not right, and that's okay. Now, if you walk out of your house and you're fearful every day, that's another conversation we need to have. But fear is a good thing, and use it in a positive way. You don't conquer fear. I hate that term. You want to kind of manage it because fear is fear. And you can't say, well, why are you fearful of something? And that's just silly. And everybody has their own unique fears, and that's okay. It's how we handle those fears along the way. I was in Cliffs of Moher, in Ireland, excuse me, at the Cliffs of Moher about 20 plus years ago. And it was ironic as I watched all these people as they approached the cliff, they would just edge up ever so gently to the edge of the cliff. Nobody ran up to the very edge and just stopped. They had that bit of a fear of, I don't want to go off the edge of that cliff. So everyone has their little fears of what they're about, and that's okay. Their body's saying, well, they know they can hit the brakes and stop their own running or their approach, but no one I saw run up to the edge of those cliffs. Now, we had some people actually crawled on their hands and knees to get to the edge to look over that drop. Now, they have since changed the Cliffs some more and put up a wall for the stupid people that fell off the edge of it. So there's now about a 10-foot wall that you cannot see over the very edge of Cliffs some more in all areas. So if you go to, we were there in Ireland in October of this year, and they've now got this big old wall you have to look over to see the edge. So they have now kind of controlling those people's fears of either falling off the edge. When I talked to a local 20 years ago, I mentioned that there was no fence or anything, and they had a thin barbed wire, and he said, well, the sheep don't fall off the edge. If the sheep don't, we don't figure the humans would either. And there you go. So, but now they put up a wall because of all the tourists over there. Okay, but we want to control that fear. Dogs. Anybody got a fear of dogs in the room? We have a dog trainer I know somewhere. Where's our dog trainer at? Dog trainer. We have people that fear dogs. Yes, that's my dog. He's a working dog, Max. Okay, looks like a good dog, easy dog. Everybody would approach that dog thinking he's a nice dog, right? German Shepherd, easy enough. Okay. Well, there's Max doing bite work. He can turn the switch like he needs to. To say that you shouldn't be fearful of dogs, you don't know if a person's been bit or not, or how they've had a situation growing up as a child with a dog. So everyone's fears are different. But again, we're going to harness those fears. Okay. So that, by the way, that gentleman there has a sleeve on. So when he gets bit, he's going to be bitten on the sleeve, not the arm. So nobody was injured in the making of this picture here. That's not my dog. I'm cautious of dogs, but not fearful of dogs. I'm more fearful of the owners more often than I am the actual dog. You know, so people, you ask me, what are you fearful of? Anybody got a fear? What are you fearful of?
Getting old.
Getting old, yeah, that's a good one, yeah. Dying before when you see your children graduate college or school is a popular one. A physical fear. Everybody got a physical fear? Snakes, okay. What do you fear about them? Spiders, okay. We have really, 3 poisonous snakes in this area for the better part, and we have only 2 spiders, so the vast majority out there aren't even harmful. And they say in the average life you'll swallow 8 spiders in your sleep anyway, so there you go. So there we go. So we have our fears, but what are we actually fearful about? What scares you about the spiders? They move too fast.
They're itty bitty.
They're itty bitty, okay.
Well, they freeze when she screams out.
So there you go, okay. So, but for me to say that she should not be fearful is not rational. She has her own fear. It's how she handles that. Now, if she runs away, puts herself in greater risk because of that fear, that's a problem. You have to learn to again manage that, but we don't conquer the fears. Okay. So there are 7 methods that salesmen use, social media uses, TV uses, and the predators use to kind of manage you and control you in your environment. We're going to kind of cover a few of these, and then you might go, been there, done that one. Okay, so there is no such thing as a random act of violence. It may be random to you because you're unfamiliar with it, but the bad guy planned it. It may have been a crime of opportunity or pre-planned, but there is no true random acts of violence. It was planned. It was set up by the bad guy. He just didn't go. Now he had a reason to do it at that time. So you'll hear that announced on the news a lot. I don't believe in random acts of violence, okay? And then you have the crime of opportunity, and then, of course, the personal attacks. And that personal attack could go beyond just they know you. It can be your religious beliefs. It can be your political beliefs. It can go a little deeper as it still being personal, okay? So forced teaming. You'll hear this in a lot of conversations where someone approaches and they might say, are we having a bad day? Or are we having car trouble today? They're putting themselves in your conversation to make that connection. Okay. You'll see salesmen do it all day long. Oh, look, are we looking for a new car today? There you go. So they're trying to make a connection with you in the conversation. Typecasting, slightly different. It's where the person is going to attack you in a slight way, going, well, if someone approaches you and they're wanting money, well, you won't give me money anyway. You're just a rich somebody, or it may be they may even attack your race on the situation of, well, you won't help me because you're white. They're going to make you feel bad for having money or being white or being successful or whatever it may be they can pick on to go, okay, I'm going to typecast you and make you feel bad for what you have or what you are or are not, okay? Charm and niceness. There was a lot of mass murderers that were real good about being nice and charming before they did their crime. So be aware of the ones that are, oh, sir, that's a nice looking tie you have on today. Where did you get that? They're trying to suck you in and bring you in a little bit closer and continue the conversation the best they can. And then you have the ones that have too many details. My car's broke down, my grandmother's in the hospital, but all I need is a tank of gas. If you give me $4, I'll get... They're doing all these details to kind of get you lost in all that fog of information. You just kind of, fine, go away, here's $5. Loan sharking, slightly different. There again, they've tried to offer a service of some sort, and then they want their payback. Well, I walked you to your car, you owe me a kiss goodnight. That's to the girls. Just clarify.
Well, not
Okay?
necessarily.
So, yeah. But understand how that works. They did something for you, and they want something in return. Okay? And then the unsolicited promise. I promise I won't hurt you if you just give me this. Well, he's already said he's promised not to hurt you. He's already put hurt you in his brain and his vocabulary. There's a good chance he's probably going to hurt you. So we got to be careful with those. And then discounting of the no. No, thank you, I don't need your help. When they take that as a no, and they keep on coming, you need to get your red flags way up, okay? Car salesmen hate me, because when they come here with this whole thing, no thank you, and they continue on, it's not a good day for them. I've asked you to stay away, I'm just looking, I don't need your help. But sir, nope, and then, yeah, it's not a good day for them. Okay, so we want to get into the left of bang. Again, this is the book. The bang is the explosion, it's the incident, it's a bad thing that's happened, okay? It's the thing you can't necessarily always predict, but if it does happen, you're prepared for it, okay? So again, established in 2009, designed to help the Marines out on the pre-incident indicators prior to that attack. It's called left of bang. Okay, we want to be left of bang, right of bang is far wrong in the wrong direction of any of this, okay? So again, it's the real time, it's the event that has happened, and what are you going to do, and where is your plan because this has happened? So your indicators are body language, the movement of or the lack of in someone in a crowd. Someone's walking through the crowd, or as the crowd is moving, you have someone moving the opposite direction. What are the indicators in the room that when you've walked into that you pick up on? Everything from also the weather plays into this as well. Where you're going, what you're doing. When you travel, what is the weather? If you have bad weather, are you prepared to make that A, B, and C choice with bad weather? Okay. The vibe. This is going. It goes back to the gift of fear. Use that vibe and that census that God gave you. We've been kind of softened up with fluorescent lights and air conditioning. We don't take in what the world is telling us, and things are happening in our environment like we should as much. Okay. So when those things happen, we want to make the choices on our terms, not the bad guys or the event that's happening. So we have that plan and actually ready to go. And then again, baggage on your skill and knowledge of the things. It may be that you are trained in firearms, edge weapons, or how to evade in a vehicle. All those are great things and skill sets to have. But if we have our brain working in the right direction, so we walk into a room, we're taking it all in, we're getting more dialed into the situation. Otherwise, we have all the right side there. We're reactive, defensive. Our decision-making skills are going to suffer. Run, hide, fight. Well, that's all good and fine. Okay, what if you can't run real fast? What if there's no place to hide? And what if you're a great fighter? So if we can preempt that run, hide, fight and not be there, or again, you see things developing, get yourself or your family in another situation. And then again, because we have no plan, we freeze. What's our escape options of all of this? What's your best options? What's your survival instincts on this? Aftermath and recovery. All that crap sandwich is to the right of us because we're not left of bang. Okay? People say, well, that's a lot to take in. It's not really. Because again, you take your time on your computer planning your trips. So we'll take that another 30 seconds on that computer, on that Google map, and as you've registered for that hotel, get on that Google map and turn that camera around and see what else is around that hotel. I had a friend of mine whose wife scheduled a vacation trip down in Florida. They looked on Yelp. They looked at all the sites. It had great reviews. They got down there. They had 3 sons. They were down there. They were young, and all night long was motorcycles up and down the street because across the street was a nice little biker bar. Now nothing happened to them, but they didn't get any sleep because there again she focused on, well, this place got a good review. Well, what else is around you? And they had the most miserable week because all it was motorcycles up until 3 a.m. All night long. So Again, you've got one bit of information, but whatever more information can you get out of that? Okay? Used to call them red flags. Those are the indicators. What are those red flags you're seeing? What can you do about them? How can you stop those? Business owners, when you have that somebody come in doing an interview for you, and they're going over their interview or their resume, and you pick up on the indicators going, hey, this guy's lying about his experience and his training, and you realize this isn't the guy. Because things he is saying or he's not saying, those are those red flags you're picking up on, and you kind of move forward with that. Okay? We like self-offense, not self-defense. We make more points on offense, right? So we want to be more, there again, on the left side of bang or proactive than we are having to respond to the attack on his terms. I don't want to fight anybody in this room on their terms. I don't fight on my terms. I'm 5'7". I'm not a big guy anymore, and I'm 61 years old. I don't want to fight anybody longer than I have to. So I want to fight them on my terms, not their terms. Kind of keep that in mind. Okay. I don't like the term we thrive in chaos. We embrace the chaos. I don't want chaos. I want control. I want management. Okay? Because all that chaos, when that happens, that becomes a problem, because then you are right of bang, and then you are going to struggle. Okay? So, complete disorder and confusion, because we're not in control. Okay? Now, the advance, what I talk about, is another book, and this is one in my field we do all the time. It's our pre-investigation of the place we're going to go, what we're going to do, who we're going to see. So we take a client out for a night out. I may spend 100 hours researching it, and he's only out for 4 hours. But we've checked our driving routes, we've checked our hospital routes, we've checked our location where we're going to sit our client in the restaurant, in this room or otherwise. All that's taken in. And is it extreme? Yes, but on your level, you can bring it down a little bit more and just do parts of that, encompassing all three of these: the gift to fear, left to bang, and the advance. And I can promise you, your world's going to be a better place, because you're not going to have that fear of the unknowns, and you're going to be more in control of your situation that's going on around you, because you have a plan A, B, and C if something goes wrong otherwise. Okay? Hotels, air travel vehicle, first aid, power outages. When you go to all these places, look at these places that you're going to. Go a little bit deeper in the websites as you're going to do these. As you plan for your air travel, rent a car, otherwise, what's in your vehicle? You're driving down the road and the car slams on its brakes. Are you driving smart enough where you have that left and right option? I will tell parents, if you have young teenagers or grandchildren that are becoming of age to drive, contact Twickenham Auto Club. They do basically a surviving driving course every year. It teaches young drivers, or anybody really, something other than slam on brakes when bad things happen in the car. It's a great course. It's a 3-day course. Highly recommend it. NTW teaches one as well. Okay, so think about where you are when things are happening, so you have your out, either in a building, in your car, in an airplane, in your travels, in your hotel. You know, our guys like to stay on the top floor because that's the nicest rooms. We hate them because that's the highest floor to get them off of if something goes wrong. But that's the nicest rooms in the hotel sometimes. So we like staging near the elevators. Near the fire escapes. But sometimes that's not practical. I get that. Okay, so just kind of consider some of these things. You're out and about in your travels and where you're going. How you can kind of get your brain wrapped around being a little more proactive. How you're handling things. You know, if things happen, where you're going to put your spouse. Where can they go for safety if you have your children or grandchildren with you? Mom, come here, Mom, let me ask you, get you involved in this real quick. So, an idea of left of bang, we're going to break this down in the simplest concepts. Okay, so, I know this young lady. So, when your babies are little, they were in diapers. I'm going to give you a scenario here. You left the house, and diaper bag's at the house, and you're 2 hours away. Okay? And you got that blowout, and I don't mean in the tire, okay? So, blowout in the diaper, 2 hours away, no diaper bag. What are you going to do? Walk me through that process.
Well, after I start cussing at myself, I'll probably look in my car to see what else I can use.
You got nothing.
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
I guess a shirt maybe I have. I don't
Okay.
know. Okay, a shirt.
Okay, what? Keep going.
Okay.
What else can we do?
What can I do for the baby blowout?
Yep. What we got?
Okay, well, I got to clean the baby.
Yep.
At a minimum.
Yep.
Okay, so oddly enough, I just happen to have those little wipey.
Nope,
hand
don't have
things.
any of that. It's all in the diaper bag.
Yeah, but I got it in my.
Nope,
Never
not
mind.
today.
I'm just talking about.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, I guess, like I said, I go back to my shirt.
Okay, so
Okay.
if we hit a store,
Okay,
we pull over, we're at Walgreens now.
right.
Okay, now we get the baby with you, right?
Right.
Blowed out diaper. You gonna leave the baby in the car?
Never.
Okay, well, just saying. So you got baby here,
Right.
blown out diaper. You're gonna go into the store. So you're gonna grab what all can you grab in the store?
I will, okay, I'll grab my purse, I obviously grab the baby.
Yeah.
I'll go in there,
Yeah.
probably grab some diapers, some wipies. That's pretty much it for
Okay.
now.
So are you gonna pay for it in advance or go on to the bathroom
I'll pay for it in advance.
with this leaky, nasty diaper?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or
So-
maybe if it's a decent cashier, I'll say, hey, look, I got an emergency. I'll square you up on the way back.
Okay.
Might happen.
So all of this happened because she wasn't left to bang. Okay, she's having to deal with this on the other terms of leaky diaper, going to a store she's unfamiliar with. Hopefully the bathroom's clean. Does she have the money to pay for it? You've got this diaper here doing all these issues. All of that is because she wasn't living left to bang, and they didn't have the simple thing as the diaper bag, so she can change the diaper on her terms. She can and probably has a snack or two in there and a change of clothes. That is the simplest forms. That's left to bang. It's just when you go places, what can you have in your repertoire in your car? So if things happen, be it car wreck, breakdown, or otherwise, you're better prepared for the situation. Okay, and in the simplest terms. So, thank you. Give her a hand there. She tried to jam me up there with a T-shirt. So just kind of consider that when you're out and about in public about what you can do. What's in your car? You may come across an accident, and do you have a first aid kit in your car? I don't mean the crappy Johnson & Johnson first aid kits. Those are great for owies and boo-boos, but they're pretty useless. Okay, you want a good first aid kit. I highly recommend a trauma kit. Okay, they're too easy to use. There's a great course called Stop the Bleed. My organization has that in our repertoire of classes. It's a very good course of how to stop a bleed and do chest seals as well. Because when it comes time, when things happen, not a lot's going to do better than a good tourniquet. Okay, so just kind of consider when you're out and about, put things together in your car, in your travels, when you go. When I travel on the airplane, I have my radios and my trauma kits with me on the plane. I can get clothes anywhere in any country. I can't get trauma kits and radios, so those are on with me on the plane wherever I go, and they will pass through inspection. Just make sure you have the right kind of trauma scissors so TSA doesn't get upset over that. Okay, and you can go on TSA's website to see what they allow on the airplanes, but mine have been all over the world, and there's no issue with that. Okay. So again, people say, well, that's a lot to take in. Well, if you don't, then you have the stress, the worry, and all those unknowns because you weren't left to bang and you weren't using the gift of fear in the positive way. Okay, so just kind of consider that. I don't like being the mercy at others. Well, people say, well, I just have bad luck. No, maybe you make just bad choices. So if you always have bad luck, maybe you got bad choices you're making. So kind of consider that. And we want to base our success on our terms, not somebody's luck or just convenience on their end. Okay? So after we combined all three of these, the fear is managed, you left to bang becomes a lifestyle. It's not that hard, I promise. And you own the room you're in. As you come into a place, know where the exits, the entrances are. Know where you can, if you have to get out of a room, can you cut through the kitchen? I promise the kitchen police aren't going to stop you if there's a problem on that given day. So kind of consider when you're in that room, look around for those guys with that veteran hat on. When bad things happen, those are the guys that will stand up and help you out in a situation where maybe the guys in the Braves cap or the trash painters cap, maybe not so much. So just saying. So kind of think about that when you enter places, who can back you up. Ladies, when you're out in the parking lots, if you're needing help, you incorporate the help you need. Don't let some guy, chivalry's dead, okay? Don't let some guy approach you, go, man, you need some help with that? Ladies, if you see and you're needing help struggling with groceries, and you shouldn't be, you should have somebody there helping you, but if you are, you incorporate the help from somebody else. Your chances of picking that stalker or that strangler on that given day is pretty slim if you pick them out, but you don't want somebody else picking you out, okay? Kind of consider those ideas, okay? Again, it's doubled up. There's the end of mine. There's your contact and my email address if you would like to check out more of what we do, or if you have a business and you need assessments done on your facility. We do risk and threat assessments on your facility. We do come in and take pictures and try to show your issues with your security, be it physically or otherwise. I don't do IT security. I hand that off to somebody else, but we handle a lot of that as well. If you have a person or a friend who's going through a bad situation and they're being stalked, meet with me later. I'll give you a business card. Maybe they can contact me if they have issues with a stalker situation or they're in a domestic violence situation, we can help you out with some of that situations. I've never turned down a client based off of money because I have a high passion for protecting women and children in a big way. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron Bucey. Thank you so much. Round of applause. Cameron, if you'd stay at the microphone, we do have time for some Q&A. So any questions you might have, just keep it succinct and to the point and on topic.
D, how's those grandbabies?
We do have a question here in the back. Yes, sir.
So, hello, testing. Okay, yeah. I was in a situation once where I, retroactively looking at it, I know I made a mistake. I did open the door. It was 11 p.m. I got back from my home, from a small, out of town with my parents and my wife. When we got back home, there was a car, like 2 houses down. I noticed it was an erroneous car, a different car. And when we got back home, inside my house, I quickly went and I got my gun, my handgun. Nonetheless, I mean, as I expected, when my parents, everybody went inside, somebody knocked on the door. It was 11 p.m. I just want to know best practices. I'm almost sure they were probably trying to get us inside or do a robbery. I made the mistake of opening the door. I did open it with my gun out. I didn't point at them, of course, because that would be a little bit too much, but I'm sure the lady that was in front of the door, they also used the lady, of course, an older lady, so that I could get my guard down, but I kind of knew what was going on. So the situation dissuaded. She had a BS story. Nothing happened, but I'm very confident that they were probably trying to do the regular switcheroo and get, assault me and my family. Her story didn't check out and everything. My question is, what would have been the best case for that? They knew we were in because they saw us getting in. Should I have tried to just go around and either ambush them? Because I don't think that's the best idea. But I know they're already trying to get in my house.
Okay, let's keep you out of that fight to begin with. You said you drove by and you noticed it. That was your first big indicator right there that something wasn't right. So on that alone, you could call 911, said, I have a suspicious vehicle in my neighborhood that I'm not aware of. I don't know who they are or what they're about. Okay? And again, so as you moved into your house, into the family, or the family inside the house, don't answer the door. Okay? If you don't, unless you know who they are, of course, you didn't know who this person was, I'm not opening that door for anybody. Because they will use females and other issues of your water's leaking, all kinds of routes to get to open that door up. So, no, you made a mistake, opened the door, nothing happened, and that's good. But your first indicator was you saw the car, and you didn't tune into that, something's not right. And this is where you got to get dialed into that, something's not right, I got to do something about this. That's what your tax dollars pay for those police to show up and investigate those kind of things. Okay, now if you use it every day, they're going to quit showing up, I get that. But use it accordingly and use it as you need to, because that's what they're there for. Call the police, get the police en route, and they'll come out there and check things out. That's what they're there for. They probably had a report of the same person doing something else to somebody else in another neighborhood.
Another question here.
Yes, sir.
What I do is I keep the Huntsville non-emergency number in my phone.
Yeah.
On a quick dial of my contacts. It's a lot better than 911. And because I've called about the same thing, because especially I do community watch in my neighborhood, and they do that. They respond very quickly. I mean,
and you can call 911 and say, I don't know if this is an emergency or not, but I got a situation, and they're okay with that, okay? Because sometimes the non-emergency number, it's a 9 to 5 number some places in certain counties, certain areas. So just kind of be aware. Yes, ma'am.
Questions? Another one?
Can I tell you about a scenario that happened to me at a local grocery store?
Sure.
I'll tell you what I did. And I felt pretty comfortable with what I did. I was coming out of Trader Joe's. Can you guys hear me? This was just a few months ago. I was coming out of Trader Joe's, and I had my purse in my left arm, and I had just a small bag with a couple things in my right hand. And a young girl walked up to me. She was in her 20s probably, and she had a little grocery bag, and she said, "Excuse me." And I looked at her, she was on my left, and I said, yes, and she said, would you mind walking me to my car? And I said, where's your car? And she pointed to the empty car lot, which is next to Trader Joe's. And I immediately looked over there and saw an empty car lot, and red flags totally went off. And so I said, my car's right here, I'm gonna get in my car, I will follow you in my car to your car. So I got in my car, I backed out of the parking space, she got in a car in the driver's seat that was in front of the building.
Yeah.
And so my red flags had already gone off, and I was not walking with her anywhere.
She's approaching you as a female, playing on your good nature that you'll help out another female. Yeah, and this is where you go back inside and go, there's some big tough guys in Trader Joe's who'd be glad to walk you out.
Yeah.
Actually, she told me the scenario, and I said I would have referred him to the management or the.
I'm a big proponent of just saying, walk away as they approach. Walk away.
And she was nicely dressed.
Oh, sure,
She was,
yeah.
she looked like, somebody that.
Yeah.
And I just, as soon as
The
she
ba-
asked
the
me
bad
that,
guys aren't
and
what
I
they
saw
are
that
on
empty
TV.
parking lot, I was like,
TV has done martial arts and gun shooting and bad guys and all the drama TVs in a bad light because it's not how they are.
Yeah, I'm not walking.
Yeah.
anybody.
Well, you did a good thing. It's good.
While others are thinking of questions, I have one for you, Cameron.
Yes, sir.
What would be the wisdom or value add of if you consider your home might be in a high-risk place for robbery or maybe the reinforced door, and I'm sorry if this doesn't fall under your immediate purview.
We
but
got it.
Reinforced door, the kick-proof doors with the jam and everything, or having a safe place within your home, like a panic room kind of thing. It's hidden. Anything like that might be true value add.
Okay. In the older homes, you can forget about a safe room unless you've had one modified because you're talking about sheetrock walls and interior doors that are hollow. That's never good. Doors that you can lock to slow down further penetration from the person who may get in. The door braces are good, but understand it's only as good as the frame it's built on. So the door braces they do slow it down. I will give you a weird story about that real fast. My mother passed in April, and I had trained her and taught her to barricade her doors. Well, we went to her house. She couldn't. She was not answering. She had every door barricaded. We couldn't get in because she had every door barricaded. We had to break in to get to her. She had passed in the night at some point, but it was for that first few fleeting moments we were just panicking but we couldn't get in to my mom's house because she had everything barricaded, which was great for her, but we couldn't get even her bedroom door. Every door at the step of the way was barricaded, and her alarm went off, and all the protocols we had set up worked. The police showed up real fast, and glass was breaking, and all of that. ADT's calling, and by the way, ADT is terrible, by the way, but ADT showed up, so that works. Door braces, yes, they do a good job, but they are limited. Okay, they will slow the bad guy down, but by no means is it going to stop them. Okay, they also you have every door barricaded. Deadbolt locks help, but again, it's only as strong as the frame it's mounted on. So just kind of consider that. If you build a home, that's the time to build your safe room. Build it into your master bedroom closet. You can reinforce that. Also make that into your tornado shelter as well. If you do it correctly, you can have a 2-for-1 with the tornado shelter. Remember, that's a tornado shelter. It's not designed to handle F5. It'll handle up to an F4 potentially if you build it correctly. There are some FEMA standards you can go by that's online. You can check those out.
Yeah, I'll tell you the door frames with the molding, the trim molding, and the fascia, the encasement.
Yeah.
Man, anything that goes into that is going to be ripped right out.
Yeah, we had to kick the door into my bedroom, my mom's bedroom.
You've got
Yeah.
to go all the way. Your construction is your door jambs are double 2x4. So if you can get all the way through
Yeah.
into that,
Yeah.
you've got a pretty good chance of.
Because those screws they say are about that long. You need, like he says, you need about two and a half inch
Three,
screws.
and they need to
Yeah.
go through both of the double 2x4 stacked
Yeah.
together in frame.
I'm a big fan of the Simply Safe security systems for the money. They're pretty nice. Anybody can set those up, and if you have a situation where you're moving to an apartment or you have sons or daughters that are moving around, and then again they're going to move somewhere else, they can take it with them versus having one with ADT. It's the system that you can't just take anywhere. When we called ADT, they completely failed in doing their follow-up on shutting off the alarm. The alarm kept going off after they had the passcode and everything else. It kept going off the whole time. while all this was happening. And so we had a come to Jesus meeting with ADT after all that went down. But she did a very good job barricading herself. Yes, sir.
I'll stand up
Oh,
because
yes,
I'm
I'm sorry.
short. I began to dip my toe into weapons training, and through a guy that was teaching us some pistol, I ended up going to a ground defense class. Can you hear me okay? No? Can't hear me?
There you go.
Oh,
There
gosh.
you go.
Okay, I was beginning to dip my toe into weapons training, and an unexpected addition to that was another course, and I met some people in town who have a PhD in jiu-jitsu and ground training, and since 50% of this audience are women, I had no idea how panicked a woman attack type thing could get, and without going into a lot of detail, there were incredible maneuvering, posturing that you can do to keep yourself out of trouble where you're totally pinned down if you happen to be attacked. And okay, so you probably have resources for
Yeah, I
that.
do.
I just highly recommend.
If I had to pick
doing
one
that.
martial arts over any of them, it would be Krav Maga.
But on the way to that class, I stopped by the local mosque. I'm trying to build bridges with, many of us probably prayed over Israel and for those who are the violent attack, radical religious elements. We do have them in town, according to missionaries I know that have been on the inside of our local mosque. I just encourage everyone to try to build bridges, be welcoming. If you've ever gone to hear someone talk about a conversion experience into Christendom, they're very curious about our parking lots that get filled and the homeschool vans and the notice of how behavior differs with children. But anyway, I just wanted to, I had gone there to thank them for standing up, notably in the Michigan community with some of the Board of Education advocacy, where men were beginning to take a stand of what curricula and so forth the children get. And all of us represent so many different neighborhoods. Please don't treat them with a lot of mystery. You can engage them in conversations over yogurt at the grocery store, for goodness sakes. But
Thank you, Carol. George? And any other questions you might have? We still have a couple minutes.
Cameron, as we do have wives that, children gone, you have your wife at home, you try to have your house secure for them. Around my house, I have several motion detector lights around the driveway, different places, and we have cameras as well. But is there anything other to do around your house to deter if anyone comes close, and maybe deter them to stay away?
Well, it depends on what, again, we're focusing on protecting. If you got your vehicles in the garage, not having the cars in the driveway becomes a target for them as well. Make sure they're locked. So that there again, know that your car's being outside makes that an issue. If your alarm goes off, don't go walking outside into danger. Let the car go off. That's what your insurance is for. I see too many people put themselves in harm's way over their property. Nothing's worth your life, folks. Yes, they're stealing from you. You're upset. You're mad. You want to get your revenge or your payback, whatever. It ain't worth it. Okay. And also in Alabama, killing over the theft of property is going to put you in jail. Okay. This ain't Texas. Different situation. You've got to get things going on. With the cameras, that's good. It records the issues. The motion lights are great. Make sure if she has a either mobile phone or a cordless phone, have that with her, so if she has to leave, it's okay. Barricading in yourself, in your home, can be also problematic if you're trapping yourself. There may be a situation where going out the back door, having a relationship with your neighbors that you could go next door, pound on their door at 2 a.m. going, hey, it's me, Martha, it's me, Susie, whoever, I need help, or have a phone number that you can call and have that relationship with your neighbors. It's amazing how the neighbors these days do not communicate with each other. We had a protective detail going on a couple years ago, and I noticed people come home at 5 o'clock, doors went up, doors went down, nobody was walking on the streets. It was just becoming a whole different world in the neighborhoods now, where it seems like the neighbors aren't communicating with each other as much as they did in the past. But no, it sounds like you got a good thing going on overall. And weapons training is not for everybody. I get that. If she's receptive to learning proper handgun training, that's fine. A shotgun in the home, yes and no. That's a whole other argument we can have for another day about using the shotgun in the home. You can miss. People think, oh, I can't miss with a shotgun. Yeah, you can. And that can become an issue if they breach the home and she has a shotgun. So, and also you need to go beyond a basic handgun course. Taking a basic NRA course is the equivalent of having a driver's license in the state of Alabama. That doesn't make you a NASCAR driver. Okay, so you need to go beyond just a basic handgun course and get real defensive training because there's several good instructors out there, and beyond myself. But I was used to be in the phone book under NRA instructors back in the day when they had the phone books, but times have changed. Any other questions? I'll be around if anybody else wants to come up and approach me later on.
A couple quick bullet points before I turn it over to Rebecca to close us out. First of all, thank you so much to Cameron Bucey. I think it'd be appropriate if we give him a round of applause for coming here and with us today. He will be available afterwards. You see his contact information on the screen there. If you want to jot that down, take a picture of it. Great resource. Are we having a meeting next week? Next month?
I've got
Nope.
that on my list.
You got that on your list? Okay. Please avail yourself. Gary Cooper at the bar. He's ready to take your order for whatever you want. And hang around, talk to people, talk to Cameron. Thank you so much for being here. Rebecca?
Sorry, we were having a quick meeting. Another round of applause. Okay, guys. Reminder that if we have some money, we may be buying some Christmas gifts. How important it is to shop local. Carol just sent me some information about Madison and what the chamber is sponsoring as far as, and every chamber in the state is pushing shop local. Be sure and shop local, but also remember the scenario we just had of pay with cash if you can. You may take you some extra effort to go get that money out of the bank, but you're going to be giving, think of it as giving to your community, because every $7 that is spent within your community stays within your community. So that's something that we really need to keep in mind. Shop local. Don't be upset if prices are going up everywhere, but speaking as a small business owner, we're trying to keep it as low as it can. You're helping us support other small businesses instead of you go to some names I don't want to name, but anyway, just keep that in mind when you're shopping. Yes, it's a lot easier to hit that prime delivery, but not $1 of that stays within your community. So if you really want to support local, you need to support local. We need to walk what we talk. So that coming up, we are thinking about having a social here on November the 30th. We're going to talk about that at our board meeting immediately after this, and we will let you know. Otherwise, our next official meeting will be January the 20th of 2024. In the interim, there are some elections coming up for House Representative, for the state, Senate. I want you to be very aware of some of these things. If you have a candidate in your area and you would like them sent one of our surveys so you can have it we can have it in writing where they stand. Where do you stand on the Second Amendment? Where do you stand on medical freedom? Where do you stand on any of the things that are important to us as Focus on America? Then please send us a message, send us an email, see one of us. We'll be happy to send them a survey. We will not be endorsing any candidate that does not complete a survey. And in those survey questions, it will ask them about election integrity, vaccine mandates, medical freedoms, sending our tax dollars overseas. Where do they stand on any of those things? So if you have an election coming up in December or January in your district, please let us know. We'll be happy to get that candidate sent out, and it will come from Focus on America, so it won't be as if you're singling them out. Then we'll share that information with you guys and let you know who we as Focus on America would endorse based on the answers of those surveys. Again, if they don't answer the survey when we send it to them, we will not be endorsing them. I also want to remind you that, and some of you may get mad, and if you do, that's okay. I'm a big girl, I can handle it. Don't vote just Republican because they're Republican.
Amen. That's right.
Just because the Republicans in the state of Alabama are our problem.
Come on, Rebecca.
It's not the Democrats.
Come on, preach it.
So, don't get me started. So, most of the Republicans that are holding office, like our Speaker of the House, Nathaniel Ledbetter, I might as well call him out because I'm mean to him. So, just use him for example. In 2010, he ran as a Democrat. He lost. In 2014, he was selected and rigged to become our next Speaker of the House. So he ran as a Republican in 2014, and guess what? He magically won.
Pick list.
So in 2023, he became our Speaker of the House. Only 13 years ago, he ran as a Democrat. It is the Republicans in the state of Alabama that are the issue. And a lot of that's why we are bipartisan here. The only way we're going to get their attention is by calling them out. Don't vote Republican just because the Republicans are the good guys. In Alabama, there are very few Republican good guys. Vote for the person, not the party. Uniparty or not, do not vote for them. So we're going, be sure and support Gary. Take some gifts home, shop local. He will take a credit card today, and then you can come back and exchange it for cash if you don't have it today. But be sure those are great gifts. And also, one other thing, Bob and George have been doing some, going around doing some election integrity classes. If you have a small group, does not have to be a Republican group. If it is a prayer group in your house, a ladies group, a mom's group, if it's whatever, it doesn't matter where 2 or 3 or more are gathered together and praying over our elections, then let us know and we'll be happy to get something or someone out there to take care of it. Thank you for coming. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and don't forget to be grateful. Present it. Thank you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to be grateful. We're grateful for you.